Hey guys, it's Ross going on this postcard. So, continuing my Anne Rice book collection, I'm now going to look at the Mayfair Witches, which was a great series I thoroughly enjoyed. First one, The Witching Hour. I think I got this in the US of my year there. They see the old house. And this was one of those books I stayed up very late to finish it. So let's see what it says. Demonstrating once again her gift for creative storytelling and the creation of legend, Anne Rice makes real for us a great dynasty of witches, a family given to poetry and incest, to murder and philosophy, a family that over the ages is itself haunted by a powerful, dangerous and seductive being. A hypnotic novel of witchcraft and the occult through 4 centuries. The Witching Hour could only have been written by best-selling author of blah blah blah. So yes, thoroughly enjoyed it. That's not the best write-up there, but this family of witches starts off with Rowan Mayfair, this doctor in California, finds out she's been adopted, and she has now inherited all this property and land and money and all sorts in New Orleans, but it has conditions. She must wear a certain necklace in public at specific times, or must be seen to be wearing it. Basically, the whole family. There's been succubus has been attracted to them for a very long time, but there's more to it than that, as you find out later. But great characters, great story. It goes back into like the 1920s and earlier and stuff like that in New Orleans and Prohibition. Really, really good. Thoroughly enjoyed this one. The follow-on to that, and just check, it's Lasher, which was the creature who has now managed to take human form, or was trying to take human form, as these creatures always do. But it was very interesting. Following The Witching Hour, Anne Rice's mesmerising novel set in New Orleans, Lasher continues the dark, erotic story of the Mayfair family and the beautiful damned creature who for 13 generations has sustained and used them. That's right, going back to the slave revolutions in Haiti. They escaped from that, that's right, and they moved from there to New Orleans. Seduced by Lasher, bound to him by love, ambition and force, Rowan Mayfair is drawn halfway across the world by his destructive desire to people it with his own kind. She leaves her husband Michael dangerously injured and the Mayfairs in panic disarray in their elegant New Orleans homes. As Lasher pursues his manic odyssey through space and time, from modern Paris, Geneva and Germany towards 16th century Italy and the remote Scottish glen of Donalaith, 13-year-old Mona becomes involved in the search. But Mona has also inherited the Mayfair lust, and the object of her desire is a disturbing choice. I forgot that she writes some really off-key things. Lasher and Rowan are hunted with all the powerful resources available to both the Mayfairs and the mysterious Talamasca. But the Talamasca has an equivocal purpose of its own, and by luring Lasher back into their midst, the family risk unleashing his destructive power upon themselves instead of harnessing it. Its dramas intermingling mystic and erotic powers with ancient atrocities and modern cupidity, Lasher conjures a world of witches as rich, complex and utterly magnetic as Anne Rice's renowned vampire world. And at its heart, Lasher himself, innocent and demon and charismatic monster, is one of her most seductive creations. He was a decent character, so he takes human form. I can't remember how exactly, but he wants to people it with his own kind because they're a different genetic branch of humanity, the Tatas, which is what the next book is called. And they lived on this island in the North Sea that had one of those tropical microclimates, but as always with islands, it sinks beneath the waves. Most of the Tatas have died. Some of them managed to flee to Scotland. It turns out they are actually the Picts, by the way, which is why there's no traces of them now because they're all completely gone. But anyway, genetically, this it's carried down through this family line, and if he impregnates them, they give birth very, very quickly. I mean, a day or two. But a fully grown Tatas emerges, or when they're conceived, they're already in their human form, just tiny, 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 and they grow. And when they give birth, then they suddenly grow into full adult size, fully cognizant of everything, and kills the mother, basically. So yes, Lasher, and that's what starts to happen in this. And who is it? There's a daughter, a Tatas daughter, I think, in this one, who he's trying to bring into the world. But this one, you see, there's dwarves and stuff as well in this, and they are ancient creatures. So this is like a representation of some of that. Then you see at the back. Now this one. Oh, I was reading this. Tatas, a giant race gifted... Yes, sorry, they're very tall as well. A giant race gifted with preternatural knowledge who breed in minutes, oh, it was that fast, and live for centuries. The race that spawned the monster innocent Lasher, who gave the Mayfairs their power and almost destroyed them. The race that could be reborn through Mona, the youngest and strongest Mayfair witch of them all, and she's about 13 or 14. The Talamasca too know the nature of the Tatas, and unscrupulous forces within that mysterious organisation have their own dangerous purpose in preserving them. Unknown to the Mayfairs, another Tatas still lives, the legendary Ashlar, older than time, who has done and suffered so much wrong down the centuries. From sultry New Orleans and lush Louisiana swamps to Stonehenge, Glastonbury and the Scottish Highlands. From the dawn of history and the Dark Ages to high-tech New York, the Mayfairs, Talamasca and Tatas combine the powers of myth, the occult and computer technology in a frantic dance towards their fate. Magnetic enchantments and violent atrocities, erotic power and bitter passions, ancient and modern, good and evil, human and immortal, mingle in Tatas to form a mythic world every bit as mesmeric as that of the renowned Vampire Chronicles, and in its dramatic climax offers a glimpse of darker and more seductive mysteries yet. So that was that. I think those darker seductive mysteries are referring to an era of the past of the Mayfairs, when I think they were the Blackwoods, or the Blackwoods were involved with them, and then Blackwood Farm came out, and that's basically one of those old southern plantations. So this one was about... Oh, Lestat is back. I knew they started to cross over at some point, I wasn't quite sure when. Lestat is back, saviour and demon, presiding over a gothic story of family greed and hatred through generations, a terrifying drama of bloodlust and betrayal, possession and matricide. Blackwood Farm, with its grand southern mansion, set among dark cypress swamps in Louisiana, harbours terrible blood-stained secrets and family ghosts. Heir to them all is Quinn Blackwood, young, rash and handsome, whom Lestat takes under his wing. But Quinn is enthralled not only to the past and his own appetites, but even more dangerously to a companion spirit, a goblin succubus, who could destroy him and others. Only the unearthly power of Lestat, combined with the earthly powers of the Mayfair clan, could hope to save Quinn from himself and his ghosts, or to rescue the doomed girl Quinn loves from her own mortality. Shocking, savage and richly erotic, this novel with the deceptively innocent title brings us Anne Rice at her most powerfully disturbing. Oh dear. Here are vampires and witches, demons and doppelganger, men and women caught up in death and destruction, blood and fire, cruelty and fate. Blackwood Farm. So contemporary, but I'm sure it goes back into the past, because look at this. This is a very old style painting. And then the last of the Mayfair Witches that I have, or may have picked up way down the line more recently, is this one. Oh, half marked price. What was this? Blood Canticle. And that obviously is Lestat. This time Lestat really is back with a vengeance and enthralled to Rowan Mayfair. Interesting. In this latest mesmerising volume of the Vampire Chronicles, two irresistible visions collide and merge as Lestat moves through the world of Blackwood Farm and the Mayfair Witches. Here is the inimitable voice, mocking and seductive, cool but full of passion that wooed millions of readers as the vampire Lestat takes up once more the thrilling story of his own struggle between the lust for blood and the quest for love, between gratification and redemption. Here too are the brilliantly conceived characters to make up Rice's unique pantheon. Ophelia, like Mona Mayfair, taken over into the realm of the undead, her ghostly uncle Julian Mayfair. I will just have to pause it here and continue this in a moment. So, Julian Mayfair, who torments Lestat. Julian Mayfair was such a great character in the other books when you see all of his backstory and everything. Fantastic. Rowan Mayfair, witch and neurosurgeon, who attracts spirits to herself, casts spells on others, and finds herself dangerously drawn to Lestat. Rowan's husband, Michael Curry, hero of the Mayfair Chronicles, seeking Lestat's help. Patsy, country and western singer, killed by Quinn Blackwood and dumped in a swamp. And at the book's heart, the vampire Lestat himself, demon and angel, drawn to kill but tempted by goodness. Now he fights to save Patsy's ghost. I keep thinking of Patsy from Absolutely Fabulous. From the dark realm of the Earthbound, to uncover the mystery of the Tatas in the tropical island hideaway, and to decide the fate of Rowan Mayfair. Can't remember what that fate was. Maybe I'll read this again and refresh my memory. I'd probably have to read all of the others leading up beforehand, and that's quite an ask. But anyway, that is just the Mayfair Witches and where it intertwines with the Vampire Chronicles as well. In the next video, it'll be about everything else that she wrote.